The movie starts with a boy named Gulliver. He is always happy with himself and works for a company. One day, Gulliver is interviewing a boy for a job. He asks him some casual questions and later finds out that the boy has been hired. Gulliver then takes him on a tour of the office. In the office, there is also a girl named Darcy. Gulliver introduces the new employee to Darcy. The new employee quickly realizes that Gulliver likes Darcy. However, Gulliver is too shy to talk to her. Later, Gulliver and the new employee are in the elevator when Darcy enters. The new employee leaves, giving Gulliver a chance to talk to her alone. The next day, Gulliver is having fun in the office when the new employee arrives. He happily tells Gulliver that he has been promoted and is now his boss. He also tells Gulliver that his carefree nature has stopped him from getting promoted. He advises Gulliver to change his ways. He also tells Gulliver that Darcy has no feelings for him because of his attitude. Hearing this, Gulliver starts worrying. Gulliver then goes to Darcy's office and picks up a travel information form. Darcy asks him if he likes traveling, and Gulliver lies, saying he loves it. He brags about visiting New York, England, and India. Darcy is impressed and tells him to write about his travels. When Gulliver starts writing, he realizes he doesn't know what to write because he has never actually traveled anywhere. So he copies information from different articles on the internet. Darcy is impressed after reading his report and tells him to write about a visit to the Bermuda Triangle. The next day, Gulliver sets off for the Bermuda Triangle. The boat captain instructs him on how to sail and how to return by pressing a button. Gulliver confidently says that it's easy for him. While sailing, Gulliver falls asleep. A storm hits his boat, and he wakes up to a shocking sight. Tiny people are standing on his body and have tied him up with ropes. These tiny creatures are called Lilliputians. They even built a bridge over Gulliver. The Lilliputians think Gulliver is a giant who might harm or eat them. The Lilliputian army is there, along with their general. Gulliver tries to get up, but they pull him back down. He falls again, accidentally trapping a tiny soldier under him. Then, the Lilliputians drag him to their king. Gulliver tells the king that he is not a giant or a monster, but just a normal person. He also asks where he is, still unable to believe his eyes. The tiny soldiers lock Gulliver in a prison. There, he meets another prisoner named Horatio. Unlike Gulliver, Horatio is small like the Lilliputians. Gulliver asks him why he is in prison. Horatio explains that he loves the princess, but since she is engaged to the general, he was locked up. While they are talking, the general arrives. Gulliver calls him stupid. The general asks what stupid means. Gulliver jokingly says it means a brave person. Believing him, the general starts calling himself stupid. One day, the general ties Gulliver to a cart and takes him for a ride. Suddenly, their kingdom is attacked by enemies. The palace is set on fire, and the princess is about to be kidnapped. But Gulliver arrives just in time and saves her. Meanwhile, the fire spreads, and people start running in fear. Seeing the chaos, Gulliver tells them not to worry and that he will put out the fire. He manages to extinguish it, but the general also gets soaked in the process. Feeling embarrassed and angry, the general leaves. The king is pleased with Gulliver and invites him to a feast. Gulliver agrees on one condition: Horatio must be released. The king agrees, and Horatio is set free. During the feast, the king asks Gulliver if he came from the river. Gulliver proudly says, "No, I am from New York." The people misunderstand and think he is the president of New York. Gulliver starts bragging, making up stories about how he saved the city and how powerful and smart he is. The king is impressed and promises to find his boat soon. He even builds a huge house for Gulliver so he can live comfortably. Later, Gulliver and Horatio talk about how Horatio can impress the princess. Horatio follows Gulliver's advice, even when it makes him act foolish. Despite this, the princess starts liking him. That night, the general secretly finds Gulliver's boat. He wants to get rid of Gulliver. Gulliver manages to find his phone inside the boat and listens to a voice message from Darcy. In the message, Darcy says she is coming to meet him. Just then, the enemy kingdom attacks again. Horatio rushes to tell Gulliver that the king has chosen him as the new general to protect them. Gulliver tries to talk to the enemies and asks them to leave, but they ignore him and start throwing stones. Luckily, the stones don't hurt him. Gulliver then drags their boats to the shore, forcing them to surrender. He saves the kingdom and everyone cheers for him as a hero. However, the general becomes extremely jealous of Gulliver. During the victory celebration, the princess breaks up with the general. Furious, the general secretly goes to the enemy king and steals a magazine from Gulliver's boat. The magazine has instructions on how to build a robot. Later, the general returns, but this time, he is inside a giant robot suit. Seeing the robot, Gulliver gets scared. The general attacks, tossing Gulliver into the air. During the fight, Gulliver's lies are exposed. Everyone finds out he had been making up stories. Then, the general captures Gulliver, ties him up, and sends him away. Gulliver thinks he is back in his world, but instead, he arrives in a different place called Brobdingnag. Unlike Lilliput, Where people were tiny, the people here are giants compared to him. A giant child picks up Gulliver, thinking he is a toy. Soon, Gulliver meets Horatio again. Horatio tells him that Darcy has arrived in Lilliput, but the general has imprisoned her along with the king. He says only Gulliver can help save them. That night, Gulliver sneaks back to rescue Darcy and the king. The next day, a big fight happens between Gulliver and the general's robot. The robot is much stronger and easily defeats Gulliver, but at the right moment, Horatio damages the robot's wires. Taking advantage of this, Gulliver defeats the robot and wins the battle. In the end, the king allows Horatio to marry the princess. Darcy also forgives Gulliver for his lies, but before they can celebrate, the general suddenly appears and captures the princess again. At the same time, the princess fights back and hits the general, freeing herself. As a result, the general loses his grip on her. Meanwhile, Darcy walks toward Gulliver, and that's where the movie ends. Now the movie Antboy will be explained. The movie begins with a 12-year-old boy named Pell Norman. He has no friends at school and often sits alone. One day after school, Pell sits on the balcony eating an apple. He notices that two boys are bullying his classmate. To help, Pell throws his apple at them and quickly hides. The boys see him and start chasing him. Pell runs into a garden and hides. When the boys can't find him, they leave. As Pell is about to go home, an ant crawls onto his body and bites him on the neck. After that, he suddenly faints. When he wakes up, he heads home. Later, while watching TV, he sees Amanda's father speaking live on the news. Then he sits down for breakfast, but something strange happens. His milk carton sticks to his hand, and when he tries to pull it off with his other hand, it sticks there too. When he lifts his glass of juice, it also slips and breaks. Confused, at school, Pella accidentally bumps into a classmate. When he tries to open the classroom door, the handle comes off in his hand. A friend nearby sees this and starts to suspect that Pella has superpowers. During sports class, Pella's friend continues watching him closely. The teacher calls Pell forward to demonstrate a new game. At first, Pell falls down easily, but when he gets up again, something changes. The teacher tries to make him fall, but this time, Pella resists and stays strong. Then, without meaning to, Pella lightly pushes the teacher, who suddenly falls far away. Everyone is shocked. Realizing something is different about him, Pella runs away. As he heads home, his friend catches up with him and starts asking questions about his powers, but Pell doesn't pay much attention. His friend then gives him a comic book about superheroes. That night, while reading it, Pelle starts imagining himself as a superhero. The next day at school, Pelle tells his friend that an ant bit him, and since then, strange things have been happening. Hearing this, his friend takes him home, where Pelle sees superhero-related items everywhere. His friend, excited about the idea, starts testing Pelle's powers through small experiments. He asks Pelle to bite a book, tries to see if he can fly, and even makes him wear a superhero costume. After thinking for a while, Pelle chooses the name Antboy as his superhero identity. Later, a thief snatches a woman's handbag and runs away. Pelle chases after him and tells him to return it. The thief doesn't take Pelle seriously, thinking he's just a kid, and tries to scare him. Pelle hesitates at first, but then something amazing happens. He climbs up a wall like an ant. Realizing his new ability, Pelle captures the thief and takes back the stolen handbag. At the same time, the police arrive and arrest the thief. Later, Pelle tells his friend everything, including how he was able to climb walls, but when he tries to do it again, he fails. He also discovers his weakness. His powers become weak if he doesn't eat sugar for a long time. Now Pelle starts helping people using his powers. Soon, he becomes famous as Antboy, and kids start copying him by wearing costumes like his. One day, while Pelle is in Amanda's room, a mysterious man wearing a strange outfit enters. He kidnaps Amanda and disappears. His name is Flea. The next day at school, a child is seen hanging on the wall. Antboy rushes to help, but when he gets closer, he realizes it's just a doll. It was a trick by Amanda's younger sister, who wanted Antboy's help to save Amanda. Amanda's sister tells Antboy that a man named Flea kidnapped Amanda. She describes him as strange-looking and able to fly. She also reveals that her father works for a vaccine research company, and Flea has demanded $20 million as ransom. He also wants Amanda's father to quit his job. Antboy agrees to rescue Amanda, but before leaving, they go to Pelle's house. There, Pelle's friend gets angry and asks, "Why did you bring her here?" Later, Antboy follows Amanda's scent and reaches a house. To his surprise, it is the same place where the ant bit him. When Antboy enters, he sees many glass boxes filled with insects. Amanda is also locked inside one. As he tries to free her, Flea appears and traps Antboy in another glass box. Flea then reveals his past. He says he was once an employee at Amanda's father's company. where he researched ants. But one day, the company fired him without any reason, soon after his mother died from stress. Angry and heartbroken, Flea decided to take revenge on Amanda's father. Flea also reveals that he has enhanced his powers by experimenting with different insects. He then tells Antboy that the ant that bit him was one of his experiments, which is why Pelle gained superpowers. Flea warns Antboy not to interfere in his revenge plan, saying, "People only like you because of your powers, not because of who you are. They love Antboy, not Pelle." Hearing this, Pelle remembers his old life and realizes that he wants to live as Pelle, not just Antboy. One day, while Pelle is in class, Flea suddenly appears and kidnaps his friend. Pelle quickly transforms into Antboy to rescue him, but because he hasn't eaten sugar, his powers are too weak. Flea holds Pelle's friend hostage, but Pelle regains his strength after drinking a special liquid. However, Flea escapes with his friend. Using his friend's special glasses, Antboy tracks Flea to a forest, where he finds his friend tied to a tree. Antboy quickly frees him, but Flea appears again, and a fight begins between them. Meanwhile, Pelle's friend calls the police. During the fight, Antboy removes a pipe connected to Flea, which causes him to weaken. Antboy then hits him hard and throws him away. Now, Flea is too weak to move. The police arrive and arrest Flea. After this, Pelle decides that he will continue helping people as Antboy, using his powers for good. And with that, the movie ends. And thank you for watching.